Hello and welcome to my channel, and welcome to the Face the Raven Doctor Who review, season 9 episode 10. If you haven't seen the episode already, watch it before watching this, because this will contain spoilers, and maybe it's better to watch all 3 episodes of the finale, because I may accidentally give away points for the last 2 episodes. So spoilers alert. Okay, we'll get straight on with it. Spoilers, yes. I don't like spoilers. I've never liked spoilers for TV programs, but people have different ideas of what spoilers are. So my definition is any information that gives anything away about an episode not seen. Now, there's negative and positive spoilers. Negative spoilers would be spoilers by inference that give far too much away and thereby diminish any dramatic effect that might have been written into the episode by the writers. Sometimes the writers themselves spoil scenes. For instance, just titling an episode Dalek gives a little bit away, and when the Dalek is revealed, there's no surprise. So I came in. Oh, and there's also positive spoilers. Spoilers such as trailers where a little bit of information is given away, enough for you to question but not enough for you to answer. For instance, seeing a guest star but not having any context into which that guest star appears. So I came into this episode with 3 spoilers. Having watched the trailers, I knew that Maisie Williams was going to be in it. I knew that this was going to be Clara Oswald's last episode. And contradictory, I also knew that Jenna Coleman was going to be in all the remaining episodes. So that sort of raised more questions than it answered. So I came into this episode expecting it to be a solo episode preluding a 2-part finale. Had I have known that it was in fact the first part of a 3-part finale, I wouldn't have griped so much about it being slow. I can't remember if I did in my reaction or not, because I found it a bit slow. On a second watch, knowing what I know now, that it is in fact the first part of a 3-part story, I can understand why it's slow, and I appreciate it now. It's no longer a gripe, it is now a positive that it is slow, because we needed the time. We needed the time to relax, to get to know the new characters, and to be familiarised with the story. Because believe me, in the next 2 episodes, it gets heavy. So we needed a slow, sedate start. And this episode had all the markings of a regular episode. It's essentially a defeat the baddie, save the life of the person who's at risk, home in time for tea. Rigsy from Flatline has woken up with a mysterious tattoo. A tattoo of a number which is counting down to 0. So he phones Clara, knowing that Clara knows the Doctor, and that the Doctor obviously helped him in Flatline, so he knows that the Doctor is an alien that can help him. There was a great amount of banter between Rigsy and the Doctor, both during the phone call, when the Doctor visits Rigsy at his house, and on board the TARDIS. There was a great dynamic between Rigsy and the Doctor that I honestly thought we could be seeing the next assistant, the next companion. I still think that Rigsy would make an absolutely fantastic, should we say, sometimes guest star. Really enjoyed the catch-up, as it were, of knowing that Rigsy's character has grown since we last saw him. It's a device that has been used many times in sci-fi and fantasy books and films, especially in the United Kingdom. We last saw that sort of secret, unknown streets, unknown villages in Harry Potter. But what it really reminded me of was a 90s BBC television drama that ran for 6 episodes called Neverwhere, taken from a book by Neil Gaiman, who has strong Doctor Who ties, having written several episodes. It also starred Peter Capaldi, and it was all about secret societies and secret societies within the heart of London, unseen by normal, everyday folk. And then we meet Ashildr, and things get complicated right from that moment. Suddenly it's not an everyday day at the office for the Doctor. Things always get complicated when immortals are concerned, and this immortal has made a deal with persons unknown to deliver the Doctor to them, after having separated him from the TARDIS and his confession dial. Putting the Chronolock onto Rigsy was merely baiting the trap. Of course, we don't know this, and the Doctor has to investigate to find all this out. But the trap is basically accuse Rigsy of murder, retcon him so that he doesn't remember, and put the Chronolock on him. He phones the Doctor to ask for help. The Doctor discovers the secret streets, discovers that the murder victim isn't in fact dead, discovers the murder victim in suspended animation, very much alive. The suspended animation requires unlocking, and in unlocking it requires the TARDIS key. When the Doctor puts his hand into the mechanism to unlock the suspended animation, the TARDIS key is removed from him, a transport bracelet is put around his wrist, and all is needed is for Ashildr to take the confession dial from him. Quite what Ashildr gets out of the deal is never mentioned, and we'll have to wait a couple more episodes before we find out who she made the deal with. But being predictable, and Ashildr having spent possibly several hundred years planning this, we don't know how long. The Doctor, of course, behaves typically predictably. He discovers a race, that the murder victim came from a race called the Janus, the females of which have the power of prophecy, both forwards and backwards in time. They can see the past and the future, and they have 2 faces. Like the god of old, the Roman god Janus had the same ability, which is really weird that an alien species would be called the Janus. Anyway, they discover that, in fact, the murder victim is not dead, and the Doctor, in old-fashioned sacrifices, knowing that it is a trap, springs it anyway, releasing the alien female from her suspended animation, and obviously having a transport bracelet placed upon his wrist and the TARDIS key removed from him. It's then that Ashildr confesses and tells the Doctor basically of what's going on, without actually revealing who is behind the plot. Having sprung the trap, she asks the Doctor for his confession dial. in exchange for removing the Chronolock from Rigsy's neck and thereby releasing him from his death sentence. The Doctor willingly gives over the confession dial, and Rigsy hasn't got the tattoo anymore, because unbeknownst to everybody, Clara has swapped. And unbeknownst to Clara, in having swapped fates with Rigsy, she has locked Ashildr out of the deal. Ashildr can no longer stop the death sentence, and now the death sentence is on Clara, and the death sentence is carried out by a quantum assassin, one that can follow you through all of time and space and dimensions. It will always find you, and it comes in the form of a raven. This is the raven that Clara must face. When we first meet Clara, the real Clara, we had some lovely half a season of adventures with her, until she sacrificed herself by throwing herself into the Doctor's timeline at the end of Name of the Doctor. She knew when she threw herself in there that it would kill her and split her into a million copies, not quite her. Those million copies all sacrificed themselves to save the Doctor. Clara's fiancé, Danny Pink, in his cyber life, as a fully sentient, emotional Cyberman, or cyber leader in fact, sacrificed himself to save Clara, and the rest of us got lucky as well. So it seemed almost inevitable that Clara's ending was going to be one of sacrifice. She sacrificed herself to save Rigsy, and she went in there knowingly. Okay, the Doctor may have been angry that she had taken upon herself. I mean, we always knew that it was leading this way, that she was pushing the boundaries, and Clara was becoming more and more like the Doctor, putting herself at danger to save others, to get the mission completed. And I think this was one too many, where she acted without even discussing it with the Doctor. And it led to her fate, but it was one that she was willing to make. And when it was all said and done, she did not regret her decision to swap fates with Rigsy. And she went out bravely, warning the Doctor not to take revenge. But the Doctor doesn't listen sometimes. And as she faced the Raven and her demise was sealed and she fell, the Doctor warned Ashildr that the universe would become a very small place when he's angry with her. And he was very angry with her. And so the Doctor, with final farewells, is transported to locations unknown, without means of his TARDIS, without his confession dial, without any means to defend himself. He goes to face an enemy unknown. Rigsy, we assume, is sent home, and Ashildr got whatever she got out of the deal. Tell me, what did Ashildr get out of the deal? What was her reward for selling out the Doctor in this way? Or was it simply revenge? Did she simply want to do it because of what the Doctor had done to her? And so we know, going into the next 2 episodes, that Clara is somehow going to come back. Or at least Jenna Coleman is going to come back in some way. But Clara is dead. Clara is dead. This was her death. No matter even if the Doctor goes back in time and talks to the past Clara, catches in on some of the days that he missed with her, we still have witnessed her death. It's like the 11th Doctor said.
You're waiting at a glade to elope with me. I could help Rose Tyler with her homework. I could go on all Jack's stag parties in one night.
Time catches up with us all, Doctor.
Well, it is never laid a glove on me.
So, although we've just witnessed Clara's actual last moments, that doesn't mean anything to the Doctor. Or maybe this time is different. Thank you for watching this, and the next episode, the next 2 episodes look to be absolutely fantastic. So on the whole, yes, I really enjoyed this episode. It was fun, it was comical, it was sad, it was heartbreaking, and yes, I did shed a tear. I'm an emotional person. I'm not going to hide that. So we wait to see what events transpire to bring Clara back in the next 2 episodes. And of course, if you've taken my warning at the beginning of this review, you probably already know. But we'll discuss that in the next episode. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.